Welcome back to the Lone Road iRacers podcast. I'm Guy Robertson, your host, and today we're diving into one of the North America's underrated gems, and now live and new on iRacing, the Portland International Raceway. This track might not have the international prestige of Suzuka or Spa, but for those who know it, it's a fantastic venue packed with history, technical challenges, and some intense racing. And what you'll see on this section of the podcast on YouTube is me driving around the track from a driver's point of view in the Ray FF1600. So feel free, if you want to look at the track and how it looks from a driver's point of view, go and check that version out, folks. Link will be in the show notes. The Portland International Raceway has been a key venue in American motorsport for decades, but often flies under the radar, and honestly I've never heard of it till iRacing announced that it was coming. Unlike many historic tracks, it doesn't boast a long F1 or endurance racing pedigree, but it does have is a reputation for producing tight, action-packed racing, and that's what we love as iRacers. The mix of high-speed sections and technical corners makes it an excellent proving ground for both real-world and sim racers. In today's episode, we'll break down the history of PIR, or Portland International Raceway, so you're going to hear PIR a lot, the layout, racing strategies, and how to maximise your performance in iRacing. Whether you're an experienced sim racer or someone looking to expand their track knowledge, this episode will help you appreciate why Portland is such a beloved track in the iRacing community. Or soon will be, I should add. Portland International Raceway, or PIR as it's commonly called, is located in Portland, Oregon, and has a fascinating history. The track was built on the remains of a former city called Vanport, which was destroyed by a massive flood in 1948. Rather than letting the land go to waste, racing enthusiasts saw an opportunity, and by 1961, organised motorsport events started taking place on the repurposed streets. PIR became a permanent fixture in the racing world and has hosted everything from IndyCar, IMSA and Trans Am to grassroots club racing and cycling events. Vanport was once a thriving city, built during World War II to house workers from the Kaiser shipyards. However, in a tragic turn of events, a breach in the Columbia River levee led to a catastrophic flood that wiped out the entire city in less than an hour. When the waters receded, what remained was an open expanse of land and eventually found a second life as a racing venue. Over the years, PIR has witnessed legendary races and moments, including dramatic finishes in IndyCar and intense battles in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. The track has also been home to notable drivers like Alex Zanardi, Al Unser Jr. and Scott Dixon, all of whom have left their mark on this challenging circuit. Despite its relatively simple layout, PIR's ability to generate close racing has made it a fan favourite. So I'm hoping it becomes a fan favourite in iRacing. Now let's talk about what makes PIR such an interesting track to drive. The current 1.97 mile 12-turn layout is deceptively simple at the first glance, but offers plenty of tricky sections. Here are the key features that every iRacer should know. Firstly, the Festival Chicane, or turns 1, 2 and 3. This is PIR's signature feature. A tight right, left, right complex at the end of a long front straight. It's a notorious bottleneck in races where good starts can turn into chaos if drivers aren't careful. Well, we're going to experience that in the coming weeks, I would guess. The key here is to be patient. Diving in too aggressively will often lead to contact or off tracks. Well, yeah, that sounds ominous already, folks. Turn 4, the left-hander, a medium speed turn that rewards patience or throttle application. The runoff areas here can be tempting to use, but exceeding track limits can result in slowdowns, which can be costly in competitive racing. The back straight is a fast flowing section where slipstreaming is key. Drivers need to position their cars well for an overtaking opportunity heading into turn 7. Turn 7 is a hairpin, one of the best overtaking spots on the track. This corner requires heavy braking and precise car positioning. And the final turns 11 and 12. These corners are all about precision, as they lead onto the front straightaway where any mistakes can ruin your lap time. Getting a strong exit here is crucial, especially in longer races where small gains add up. PIR's layout may seem straightforward, but it's a track that demands consistency and discipline. The lack of significant elevation changes mean that drivers must rely purely on their technical skills rather than using track gradients to assist with braking zones. It's a track that rewards smooth driving and tactical racing. Now, I've been iRacing now, this is my 4th year. What can I compare this track to now I've driven it and done some laps, as you can see in the footage going off behind? It's kind of a cross between Thruxton, Road America without the undulation, and lots of other tracks combined as well. So it's nothing but a standalone track for sure, and the first right, left, right, as it talked about just then, is quite difficult as well. As you've seen on the footage, I've come off a couple of times as I've been learning the track, but it is a really good track, quite wide as well, so overtaking it should be quite easy, I would have thought. In iRacing, PIR provides a unique balance between technical skill, car setup mastery and racecraft. Close racing, so the layout naturally promotes tight battles, especially in GT and open wheel racing. Because of its shorter lap distance, fields tend to stay closer together, leading to more frequent wheel-to-wheel action. Braking challenges, the festival chicane and other heavy braking zones make this track a great place to work on threshold braking. If you can master braking at PIR, you'll improve your skills for other technical circuits. Whether you're driving an MX-5, a GT3 or an IndyCar, PIR demands that you adjust your approach depending on the car. Open wheel cars require precise inputs, while heavier GT cars require careful weight transfer management. Other aspects that make PIR great in iRacing is how realistic and detailed the track model is. Laser scan version captures every bump, curb and detail, making an excellent training ground for real world drivers. Now we're just going to give some tips for iRacers on tackling Portland. So if you're looking to improve or even start to learn PIR in iRacing, here are some essential tips. Number 1, nail the festival chicane. Braking late but controlled is key. Over aggression will get you into trouble fast. Work on trail braking to smoothly rotate the car while maintaining speed. And we know that's not easy to do at times. Use the curbs wisely, especially now iRacing has put in the 3D curbs. They definitely unbalance the car if you take them at the higher line, i.e. closest to the areas where they haven't been used and worn away. The chicane and later turns allow for some curb usage, but overdoing it can unsettle the car. It's like they knew what I was going to say. Some cars like the Radical SR10 can handle curbs better than others. Manage tyre wear. Though a short track, PIR demands smooth inputs to keep tyres from overheating. Overdriving corners will punish you over a race stint. Practice overtaking spots. The best places to pass are turn 1 at the festival chicane, turn 7 at the end of the back straight, and turn 10 with a late dive. Knowing when to attack and when to wait is key to success, but that also gives you places where you need to defend as well if you're leading or in the top 3 and somebody's catching you. So defend that festival chicane, defend at turn 7, and watch out on turn 10 for the late dive bombers. We all know they're out there, folks. So I hope you've managed to nip over to YouTube and look at the footage of Portland International Raceway. It is a beautiful circuit with lots and lots of history, so I think iRacers has done a really good job. So wrapping up this section, Portland International Raceway, a track that blends history, technicality and great racing action. Whether you're looking for a new challenge or just trying to survive the festival chicane, this track has something for everyone. Have you raced that PIR yet in iRacing in week 13? I'd love to hear about your experiences. Hit me up on social media or join the conversation. Send an email to the community or find us on Facebook. Don't forget to rate and share this podcast with your fellow sim racers. And we'll move on to our second topic. Dre is the audible iRacer's companion. Want to improve your results or get more wins? Download Dre, the digital race engineer. Hit the link in the show notes for a 10% discount. Welcome back to the Lone Road iRacers podcast. I'm your host, Guy Robertson, and it's our time to catch up again with the Porsche Esports Super Cup, sponsored by Tag Heuer. And this round was at the Sachsenring. First time I think it's ever been there. So the Sachsenring provided a real challenge for the PES drivers, with its tight, twisting corners and elevation changes providing plenty of action. Right from the start, the front runners jostled for position and we saw some incredible wheel-to-wheel racing through the field. Major incidents. Lap 5, a massive collision in turn 3 saw championship contender Kevin Ellis Jr. caught up in a multi-car incident after an aggressive move from Zach Campbell. This incident resulted in a damaged car for Ellis, forcing him to fight his way back up the field. Moving on to lap 12, a controversial moment between Diogo Pinto and Alexandro Sanchez as the two made contact while battling for second place. Pinto managed to continue, but Sanchez spun out and lost multiple positions, leaving him outside the top 10. Lap 18 saw Sebastian Job and Charlie Collins, who were having a thrilling side-by-side battle throughout the Omega curve, but Job made slight contact with Collins, sending the Red Bull Racing Esports driver wide. Collins recovered quickly but lost valuable time. And we even had some final lap drama. With a checkered flag in sight, Jordan Caruso and Pinto fought fiercely for the win. Caruso defended masterfully, holding off a latch-disc dive from Pinto into the final corner to secure victory. So it was the second year in a row that the Tag Heuer Super Cup tournament delivered all the action and the entertainment, folks. Pre-qualifying saw Alessandro Bicco come 5th, Marino Sorica in 4th, Mitchell John qualified 3rd, Alexander Reed qualified 2nd, and Jordan Caruso qualified P1. There was a 28-car field, which was split from qualifying times into 5 heat races for 5 or 6 drivers. Only the top 2 finishers of the 3-lap dashes would advance to the feature race. The first heat race was fairly straightforward, with Caruso and Koyander Esports' Kevin Nielsen, the 2 top starters, holding on for the transfer. Same was true for the second heat, but while it was Reed and Tristan Iglesias of Koyander Esports moving on, the names that were not able to advance were the story in this case. Poor qualifying efforts put the first mid-season tournament winner Alexandro Sanchez, the driver he beat in said tournament last season. Luke McEwen, Apex Racing Team, and the defending series champion Sebastian Job of Oracle Red Bull Racing Team, all in the most stacked heat of the afternoon. Those 3 could not get by Iglesias or Reed and were sent to the consolidation. The final heat that had been the most consequential for the consolidation, while Alexandro Bico drove away and Gustavo Ariel from Team Redline managed to swipe the second and final transfer, it was a battle for third that changed the outlook of the final chance to advance. Elvis Rankin of Commando Esports and Carlos Fenalosa from Drago Racing were side by side entering the final corner. But contact saw them both spin around, handing third to William Chadwick of Hymo Setups. For Chadwick, this was a 10-position gain in the starting lineup of the consolidation. A spot inside the top 5 at the start. The other two would have to start at a disadvantage now in the last chance battle. So moving on to the main feature race then, 16 laps were put on the board for the feature race at the Sachsenring. The front of the field we see was a sea of Coanda affiliated drivers: Caruso, Reed, De Jong, Pai, Nielsen, Englesias and Veyron all started in 7 of the top 8 spots thanks to their heat race finishes. Only Bico, who started in 5th, broke that chain up. The Team Redline, Oracle, Red Bull Sim Racing, Verstappen.com racing entries were mired in the back half of the field, while Webster, Ariel, LeBurge and Sonnen all taking spots from 9th on the back. It was a fairly straightforward race as a result. Caruso, Reed and Zhang all managed to break away from the rest of the pack. Caruso was just too good, as Reed couldn't get to him into the entirety of the event. De Jong eventually lost their draft, but held on for a podium finish. Behind them, the fight was on for 4th. Bico was looking to mix it up, and contact was made among him, Pai, Nielsen and Webster. Veyron had the only major incident of the race, colliding with Webster partway through the event, ultimately finishing last. A last lap bonus was on the table, which meant that a total of 90 points were on the line for Caruso if he could get it. Unfortunately, his Coanda teammate Sonnen managed to snipe it despite finishing in 14th, claiming the points with a 1.21.329 second lap. Caruso's lap time was good enough to place him in 3rd, but behind another Coanda car, Kevin Nielsen. But there was also a lot of post-race penalties, folks. As previously mentioned, transfer spot incidents were more heavily scrutinised this week, with offending drivers getting even more severe penalties. The two drivers that were hit were Veyron and LeBurge. Veyron's was in the incident with LeBurge during the heat race, while LeBurge's came during the consolidation with racing against Sir Ricker. Webster was also subtracted 5 points for his incident with Veyron in the feature. So Elvis Rankin got -5 points, Maurino Serica -10 points, Tristan Iglesias -5, Cooper Webster -5, Elliot Veyron -20, and Ferran LeBurge -20. So that leaves us really with a top 5 after this event of, in P5, Alexandro Sanchez with 162 points, Kevin Nielsen with 173, Mitchell Jujong with 175 points, Jordan Caruso with 192 and still leading the way, Cooper Webster with 221. Sebastian Job is just sitting at the top 5 at 6th place with 159. So we'll keep going, folks, and looking forward to the next event, folks. I'm just trying to see where that will be. It doesn't really say. So we'll keep you updated, folks, on the next Porsche Tag Air E-Cup result. Well, that's the end of another podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening in and coming back each week. Don't forget to leave some feedback wherever you pick up the podcast and share it with your fellow iRacers, friends and family, so we can get more listeners. Don't forget to check out the YouTube version. It's got some great footage of the new Portland International Raceway, or PIR. Until next week, folks, happy iRacing, and I'll see you on the track. Season 2, 2025, Week 1. Look after yourselves. Happy iRacing.